One Piece makes history by breaking a 26-year-long streak, Dark Gathering returns, AmiAmi restores Shipment to the US, and Apothecary Diaries outlines its details for its sequels. Yes, you heard right. Sequels. There's a lot happening in the anime industry right now. I wasn't really sure which news to cover, so I thought, let's cover it all. Let's dive into it. First things first, yes, let's cover the One Piece news. Even as an outsider looking in, yes, I haven't started watching One Piece yet. It's daunting, it's scary, I'm sorry, I keep putting it off. Eventually I'll watch it. I kind of plan on watching the remake, but either way, that aside, as an anime fan, as somebody that covers anime, I can't ignore how insane this is. A series that has been around for 26 years, finally shifting away from being weekly for an entire year. That's crazy. Toei Animation announced breaking news from One Piece News. One Piece will go on a 3-month break starting in January, returning in April 2026 with the start of the Elpeth arc. Beginning in 2026, the anime series also kicks off its new production schedule, dividing into 2 parts for a maximum of 26 episodes per year in order to dive deeper into the heart of One Piece world, incorporating more content, tempo, and pacing of the original manga. Keep that in mind right there. That part right there, keep that in mind. Don't worry, Nakama. You'll have a chance to gear up for the next adventure. Stay tuned for exciting surprises during the series' break. Absolutely nuts. This is like history making right here. Again, even as an outsider looking in, this doesn't really impact me directly. It could, because if I want to get caught up, it's less daunting because they're not going to be making as much episodes per year as I make my journey. But as an outsider looking in, this is insane. And I was very curious about the responses, so I looked into the actual comments of the response to this, and I was shocked to see everybody's happy. Like, a lot of people are happy. A lot of people are kind of cautious, like, oh crap, this sucks because for so long of my life, I've been watching this weekly, and there's going to become a time where I go to check and it's not going to be there. Like, there's going to be some withdrawals here, okay? There's going to be some withdrawals here. But everybody's happy. Like, a lot of people are happy. But the concerning part for me is that a lot of people are saying the same thing. This'll fix the pacing. They even set it up there. Pacing. And so the assumption here is that, okay, so people are happy because One Piece has had some pacing issues, and this might help it. You know, let them chill out. Take a break. Don't do as much filler, that kind of stuff. But then I started looking into it more. I actually looked into the actual live broadcast that Toei did in talking about this news. And I took the transcription and I put it into machine translation. And what I found in there, and I had this confirmed elsewhere, is that they're not really changing too much. They talked about for a little bit, you know, going through different arcs and whatnot and how many episodes were per chapter. They went from something like a 149 chapters to 192 episodes kind of count. So they were taking 149 chapters of the manga and they were turning it into 192 episodes of an anime. And then they started talking about later arcs where it was getting down to like 67 episodes for 68 chapters. And then at some point confirmed that's what they're kind of trying to get to as they went further and further. Eventually in the broadcast, they said, as a result of that struggle, there had inevitably been a difference in the number of chapters and episodes between the original and anime up until now. But to depict the adventures of the huge island, we decided to continue broadcasting with a 100% original to anime ratio of 1 chapter per 1 episode. So that tells me that whatever people are thinking with the pacing changing might not necessarily change. Now, it could potentially mean that there's less likely a chance for them to have some sort of filler, but I don't necessarily think what a lot of people think are going to change is going to change. Now, to a lot of people's concerned about production and the animators and stuff like that, yes, that is could have potentially change. Now, I would argue on that whole basis there, it's not as if the animators are going to suddenly get a half a year vacation. They're probably going to work on other projects. It's just not going to be like them struggling to get an episode out every single week and thus not have any sort of buffer there to really breathe. You're going to have less likelihood that you'll have some sort of production issues as a whole. You'll have more time to Q&A, you'll have more time to check things out and make sure that things came out okay. That stuff I think will definitely improve, but again, I don't think there's necessarily going to be a big of a change because they're essentially talking about in this broadcast here, yeah, we were getting there already and we're wanting to kind of keep to that. So keep that in mind. I guess, again, keep that in mind. That's what it's kind of sound like there. Either way, I'm sure this will probably be a benefit in the end. This could also mean that they could potentially have this in the anime awards outside of, the continuous series. Maybe that was the whole reason they did this, because they want to get in that anime awards and not be, thrown into a single category by itself every single year. It'll be in with everybody else. Who knows? Who knows? But either way, extremely interesting news here. Again, even as an outsider looking in, this is big. This is big. I can't ignore it. Even me, I can't ignore it. But let me know in the comments down below. Are you a big One Piece fan? Is this good news to you? Is this bad news to you? Does this not change anything at all? Does it give you some time to kind of breathe and check something else out? Let me know. Moving on, for fans of merch out of Japan, those that love importing the figurines and whatnot, it looks like AmiAmi is restoring shipments to the US, which... thank you. I actually didn't know about this until I got an email here recently from AmiAmi that said payment request. And I'm like, wait. That's been restored? What the heck? And I checked the website, and sure enough, literally this last week, they announced that they're restoring shipments to the US. For those who don't know, the administration got rid of de minimis, which what de minimis does is basically anything that's below a certain cost, which I think is like $800. You can import it from other countries without any sort of import charges or tariffs or anything like that. But unfortunately, with that gone, that meant that a lot of sites like AmiAmi could no longer ship to us because the people delivering the package to us had no way of collecting that tariff. Because as it comes into America, it has the tariff applied to it, and the person delivering it doesn't know what to do. DHS cannot come up to you and say, yeah, what's the value of this? Yeah, I need $50. They have no system. So that pretty much shut down all these shipments. Well, it looks like AmiAmi now has a few options for us to actually pre-collect that and have it shipped to us. And yes, I got my email stating that I can actually do my payment now. And yes, the actual shipment cost included that. I think it's 15% tariff and custom fees into the shipment cost, which wasn't really as much as I was really expecting. I want to say it was maybe $25 or something like that. It's a big order. It's a big order because everything's kind of been stopped for a long time. Roxy figurines, by the way. There's a lot of stuff has been kind of backing up, and then suddenly here's the payment request and all this stuff is shipping at once. Either way, I'm really happy to see that there's at least an option now for people to finally be able to get their orders from AmiAmi. Thankfully, AmiAmi and a lot of other companies have been, holding on to our orders and not canceling them so that we can still get them. But there it is right there. It's happening. I'm excited. Like I said before, I've been kind of bummed out the fact that all this stuff has kind of been stopped, and I was kind of afraid that we'd never see it restored, but it's moving again. Hopefully, not to get political here, hopefully the de minimis stuff will get restored. I know why they claim they're doing it, but at the same time, it really hurts hobbyists like us that just want to get figurines and stuff from Japan. It's not something that just can be relocated to the United States to be manufactured in the United States. These are properties and whatnot in Japan. They're made sometimes in Japan, in a lot of cases China. But again, this isn't a thing that you could just have made in America. And that's the sucky part about it. That all said, super excited to see this stuff restored. We'll see what happens in the future. For next news, I'm super happy to see this. But yes, Dark Gathering has finally announced its sequel. I think after the first season ended, there was a lot of hints that something was coming up. They even ended the last episode with here's the next arc. Things are coming. And it seemed like all signs were pointing to that they wanted to do more sequels. It's just they needed more content to really work with. But we finally got the announcement. Season 2 is in production. It's coming. We don't have a date or anything, but we have a key art, and I'm super excited about it. I absolutely love this series. I kind of hope that it'll come around again in the fall season so that we can get another Halloween episode. I think that really worked for the first season, but either way, let's ghost. I want to hear let's ghost again. And finally, for our last bit of news, yes, this is a 1 week old news here, but I do want to talk about it. I am really happy to see that we got some announcements around Apothecary Diaries and when it will return. And that, yes, it is going to return in October of 2026. So it's a year away, but at least we got a date set. Not only that, and I think they kind of teased this when the second season ended, but yes, there's not only going to be a third season, but they're also going to have a film. In their announcement, they said the third season of the TV anime will air in 2 seasons, or technically 2 cours, a fall season, then a winter season, or a winter season and a spring season. Will air in 2 cours on Nippon Television starting October 2026. The first cour is scheduled to air in October, and the second cour in April 2027. So that means it's going to be a 24, 26 episode total season, but it's going to be split into 2 halves. So that first half of season 3 is going to be in fall 2026, and the second half of season 3 is going to be in April of 2027. So it's going to have a little bit of a break there. Additionally, the first feature film in the series, The Apothecary Diaries, is scheduled for release in December of 2026. The story is based on an original story by the original author. So in between that little split core there, they're just going to throw a random original film in there. Now, based on it being original, I don't know that it'll affect the main storyline too much. I hope not, because again, the big concern that we have here as, Western fans is that if this film comes out and it's not available in theaters in the West, if it has some sort of plot developments that is going to be, sort of playing into the second half of third season, that kind of causes a lot of concern for me. But again, it being original, I don't think it will, but it could expand on things. That's what I'm kind of wondering if it'll do. Expand on the story a little bit more to make things possibly more understandable. Because I know that authors like to do that when they, have the opportunity to have an adaptation. In some cases, they'll want to improve the story a little bit by adding more context. We'll have to wait and see. Again, I haven't really detailed too much here. And finally, yes, they released a key art for the new season coming up. They said the super teaser visual, which was also released at the same time, depicts Neko, which is Mau Mau's eyes with a determined expression. Something like flames are drawn around Mau. And the tagline, "The ultimate mystery flickers in her eyes, raising expectations for the story's future developments." Spoilers, there's flames. Either way, I'm super jazzed. I absolutely love this series. I've actually just recently ordered and gotten in most of the actual light novel series, and I'm looking forward to eventually, hopefully, read this series. But that's it. That's all the news I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this little rundown of the news. If you did, make sure to hit the like button down below. Again, comment. Let me know what you think of these news bits. Do you like the whole thing about One Piece? Are you excited for the return of Mau? Are you excited to finally get your waifu figures shipped from AmiAmi? Or are you canceling them based on the cost there? Let me know. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to support the content, become a member of the channel. Until next time, y'all take care.